The European Union has just added Kenya to the list of countries that have a high risk profile when it comes to money laundering and terrorism financing. Now, we're not the only ones who've been added to that list. There are other countries like Angola, Ivory Coast, Algeria, Namibia, and Venezuela. And we have other countries that have been struck off that blacklist. And this include Uganda, Jamaica, Senegal, and the United Arab Emirates. Now, we have a financial intelligence unit here in Kenya that is known as the Financial Reporting Center. Last year, they came up with a report that contains several cases of money laundering. And we're going to discuss 3 of these cases so that you can see how Kenyans are committing money fraud. The first case involves cybersecurity and where crypto is also involved. Now, there's this bank. They didn't name the bank. They just referred to the bank as XYZ Limited. Now, this bank went ahead and contracted 3 merchants, 3 tech gurus who are supposed to install a 3D security system. See, when you try to initiate a transaction from your mobile banking app, and there's that OTP that is usually sent, like a 4-number or a 6-number OTP that is supposed to complete the transaction. That is what they were supposed to install. Now, the 3 merchants went ahead and downgraded the system to a 2D authentication system, one that doesn't require any OTP to be sent for you to finalize the transaction. Now, these 3 merchants went even further into the customers' wallets of that bank and siphoned around 4 million USD. Now, this money was transferred to the bank account of one of the merchants, and money in that account was then used to purchase some USDT, which is a type of cryptocurrency that is pegged to the US dollar. With different exchanges, they used different trading platforms to purchase this USDT, which was then later transferred to one address. The second case of money laundering involves fake invoicing. We call it wash. Now, we have this company that was registered as a tea exporter. They are calling the company Majani Limited. This company was specifically registered to export tea to one of our tea export destinations here in Kenya. That is Pakistan, the United Arab Emirates, and even India. As a tea exporting company, you'd expect that the money that is being transferred to the bank account of this company is international, is through international transfer, right? But it was discovered that majority of these transactions were local transfers, were local cash transfers. And what's even interesting is that money was coming from companies that are in different industries. Some of them came from the lubrication industry, some came from the construction industry. So, how is that related to a tea exporting company? The other red flag was in terms of the volume of the transactions. Around 2.8 billion had been transacted in a span of 5 years, and this was a newly founded company. What even raised more red flags was that this company was unable to tie some of the documentation that they had, the import declaration forms and even the sales invoices, in that they did not match, they did not align with some of these cash transfers that were done to these banks. Talking of sales, many small to medium businesses struggle to know how much they earned during the month. That's why I'm introducing Odoo, which is a business management software that simplifies your workflow. The Odoo sales app allows you to track your sales seamlessly. You can create quotes and invoices that are professional looking in seconds. Even better, you get automated reminders on your leads and clients so that you don't forget them. You also get notified whenever a client views the quote and even approves the invoice. Odoo is ideal for solopreneurs, small, medium enterprises, and even big businesses that want a fully fledged business operating system. Odoo has many business apps that are interconnected, and in case you only need the sales app to track your sales, it's entirely free with unlimited users. If you want to upgrade and access all apps from tracking your sales by using the sales app to generating leads from your website and even managing employees using the HR management app, then you need to upgrade to a monthly subscription of $7.25 per month to access all apps. Personally, I view Odoo as a starter kit for entrepreneurs who not only want to work hard, but also work smart. Get started with Odoo. The link is right there in the description. The third case of money laundering involves cryptocurrency. We have these 12 Kenyan nationals aged between 20 to 23 who went ahead and opened wallets from a virtual asset service provider in a country called Malta. Now, all these 12 Kenyan individuals opened these accounts at around the same time, which was in May and June 2022. What raised suspicion was that the transactions, the nature of the transactions across all these 12 individuals was quite similar, in that money would be sent to their wallets at around the same time, and these individuals would purchase some USDC rather. This is a type of cryptocurrency that is pegged to the US dollar. So they would buy those USDC and they would then go and withdraw it from another virtual asset service provider. That was quite similar amongst all the 12 Kenyan individuals. When this company in Malta made an inquiry for these 12 individuals to provide some supporting documents, like where was the money coming from, they all went silent and withdrew the remaining amount of USDC from another virtual asset service provider, who was again common amongst the 12 Kenyan individuals. That's it. They never made any other transactions. Their accounts went dormant. And within that 1 year period, they had made a transaction of around 55.7 million Kenyan shillings. These guys were money mules. And the fact that these are young people, aged 20 to 23, says a lot. There are so many cases that are highlighted in that document. I'm going to leave a link to that so that you can check it out. There's also another case of terrorism financing, which I'm not going to go in depth, but it's a case where money found its way from South Africa to Mozambique, to Kenya, to Ethiopia, then Somalia. And it was then used to fund some of these terrorism activities. Why were we added to that list? Because last year we have a global financial watchdog that looks at money laundering and terrorism financing cases. And this watchdog is known as the Financial Action Task Force, that also listed us. It greylisted us as one of those countries that have a high risk profile when it comes to terrorism financing. It's important to note that the reason why some of these countries were removed from that blacklist, like Uganda, the United Arab Emirates, is not because these countries are immune to such cases, but it's because these countries have met the international standards that are required when it comes to handling terrorism financing and money laundering cases. And Kenya has not been able to meet those standards. Some of the reasons include the prosecution cases. How many prosecution cases have successfully gone through, have successfully happened here in Kenya? How many? And we've even seen that virtual assets, that is cryptocurrencies, are now involved, and we don't have a robust, comprehensive way to handle this, considering the fact that crypto is still new here in Kenya. We still need to put in measures that are at par with the international standards. The good news is that the president recently signed into law the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill 2025 after we were listed there. Also, the government has developed the Virtual Asset Service Providers Bill 2025, which is currently being tabled in Parliament. So we are going to see more regulations when it comes to virtual assets like cryptocurrency. I'm going to do another video around that, so stay tuned. Having talked about these cases, why do you think Kenya is lagging behind when it comes to prosecuting money laundering and terrorism financing cases? And what steps do you think Kenya should take when it comes to handling such cases, especially when it involves cryptocurrency? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments.